Though his journey was not easy, Luther never stopped inspiring others. He showed the world that diabetes doesn't define who you are. Your spirit does. Your will to fight does. And your love for life, that's what truly wins. Pause. Luther Vandross's story reminds us that even when life changes the tune, you can still sing your song with courage, faith, and heart. Inspiring music rises. To everyone living with diabetes, remember, you are not alone. Take care of yourself, believe in your strength, and never stop chasing joy. He had a voice that could melt hearts. A sound so smooth, people called him the Velvet Voice. But behind the spotlight, behind the fame and fortune, Luther Vandross was fighting a quiet, invisible battle. Pause. Dramatic music builds. A battle not on the stage, but inside his own body. Type 2 diabetes. Soft background music begins, showing concert clips and smiling fans. Luther started as a backup singer for legends, David Bowie, Bette Midler, and Diana Ross. But soon, his own voice took center stage. Songs like Dance with My Father and Never Too Much made the world fall in love with him. Happy music plays softly. On stage, he looked unstoppable. But off stage, Luther faced something far more difficult. A struggle with weight and health that followed him for years. Pause. He loved food, comfort, and long studio nights. But type 2 diabetes doesn't care about fame. Slowly, it began to affect his energy, his body, and his life. Somber piano plays, lights dim. Luther was known for perfection. In music, in performance, in everything he did. But perfection came with pressure. His health took a back seat as he focused on his career. Pause. Then came the moment that changed everything. A doctor's visit. A diagnosis. Type 2 diabetes. Soft heartbeat sound effect. At first, Luther thought he could handle it easily. But diabetes isn't something you can ignore. He faced fatigue, dizziness, and challenges performing like before. Yet, instead of giving up, he chose to fight. Inspiring music rises, sunrise visuals. Luther made a promise to himself and to his fans. He started eating better, walking more, and working with doctors. He understood that this wasn't just about music anymore. It was about life. Pause. He once said in an interview, "I'm working on myself because I want to live. I still have songs to sing." Dramatic pause, music swells. Those words became his mission. He turned pain into power, struggle into song. Soft emotional music, montage of Luther performing, smiling, waving to fans. Though his journey wasn't easy, Luther never let diabetes silence him. He showed the world that strength isn't about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. He continued recording, inspiring, and sharing his voice, even when life tried to quiet it. Pause. Today, Luther Vandross's music lives on, and so does his message. To never give up, to never lose hope, and to always take care of your health. Inspiring music rises slowly. To everyone living with diabetes, remember this. It's not the disease that defines you. It's your courage to keep going that does. Pause. Like Luther Vandross, your song is still playing, and the world needs to hear it. Blue Heart. They called him the Velvet Voice. His songs could heal hearts and make the world stop to listen. But behind the fame, behind the perfect smile, Luther Vandross was fighting a battle the world couldn't see. Pause. Soft piano continues. A battle against type 2 diabetes. A disease that tested his strength, his faith, and his love for life. Dramatic music slowly builds. Luther's journey began in New York City, a young man with a dream and a voice that could move mountains. He sang backup for legends like David Bowie and Diana Ross, before stepping into his own spotlight. Soft, inspiring music. Songs like Never Too Much and Dance with My Father made him a global icon. Every concert, every note, felt like pure magic. But even while the world was listening to his voice, his body was whispering a warning. Pause. Late nights, stress, and comfort eating took a toll. Luther's weight and health began to change, slowly, silently. Somber piano fa de sin. Luther was known for his perfection, in music and in life. But no one is perfect forever. When he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, it hit hard. Pause. The endless energy he once had started fading. Recording became harder. Performing took more effort than ever before. Still, Luther refused to stop singing. Because for him, music wasn't just a career, it was his heartbeat. Inspiring strings rise. Instead of giving up, Luther decided to fight. He changed his diet, started exercising, and learned how to live differently. Every step forward was a note of courage. Every day was a new performance, not for the crowd, but for his health. Pause, emotional tone. He once said, "I'm working on being the best version of myself, not just for music, but for life." Dramatic swell of music. He showed that even when life tries to silence you, you can still find your rhythm, your reason, your song. Though Luther's journey ended too soon, his story still sings. He taught millions that strength doesn't mean never falling. It means rising every time you do. To everyone living with diabetes, remember, it's not about the illness you fight. It's about the spirit that refuses to give up. Pause. Luther's voice may have stopped echoing on stage, but his courage still inspires hearts around the world. Inspiring music rises. They called him the Velvet Voice, a man whose songs could melt hearts, heal pain, and bring tears of joy. But behind that golden voice, behind the fame and the lights, was a battle Luther Vandross never sang about. That health is precious. That taking care of yourself isn't weakness, it's strength. Pause. Even though his life ended too soon, his story still echoes across generations. A reminder that every voice, every heartbeat, every choice matters. To everyone living with diabetes, remember Luther's story. You are not alone. You are stronger than your diagnosis. You can live fully, love deeply, and still follow your dreams. Pause. Inspiring music swells. Like Luther Vandross, they called him the Velvet Voice, a man whose songs could heal pain, bring comfort, and make people fall in love. But behind that smooth voice, behind the fame and the applause, was a man fighting a quiet, lifelong battle. Pause. Piano continues softly. A battle with type 2 diabetes. A fight that tested his strength, his will, and his faith. Born in New York City, Luther Vandross was surrounded by music from the very beginning. He started small, singing backup for artists like David Bowie and Diana Ross. But soon the world discovered his magic. Soft, uplifting music plays, with hits like Never Too Much, Here and Now, and Dance with My Father. Luther became one of the greatest voices in history. Every stage he stepped on turned into a memory. Every song he sang became someone's story. Pause. But as his career soared, his health began to fall behind. Long nights, endless tours, and a love for food, they all took a toll on his body. Somber piano fades in, dim visuals of studio lights. Luther struggled with his weight for years. And with that came the hidden danger, type 2 diabetes. The diagnosis hit him hard. He was a man who gave life to words. But now, those words were hard to sing when his own health was slipping away. Pause. There were days when he felt weak. Days when his body said no, even when his heart said sing. Yet, he never stopped performing. He never stopped smiling for his fans. Because deep down, he believed that his music, could still heal. Luther decided it was time for change. He began learning how to live with diabetes, eating better, exercising, and finding balance. Every small step forward became a victory. Pause. He once said, "I'm working on being healthy. I have to take care of myself if I want to keep singing." Dramatic music builds. Those words became his mission, not just to survive, but to live with purpose. Even through challenges, Luther kept performing, recording, and inspiring millions around the world. Soft emotional piano returns. Luther's story isn't just about music. It's about strength, perseverance, and acceptance. He proved that even in the face of illness, you can still chase your dreams and make a difference. Pause. Though his journey ended too soon, his voice still lives in every song, and his courage still inspires every heart. Inspiring music rises. You show the world that diabetes doesn't define who you are. Your spirit does. Your will to fight does. Your love for life, that's what truly matters. To everyone living with diabetes, remember Luther's story. You are not alone. Your journey may be difficult, but with strength, care, and hope, you can still write your own beautiful song. Pause. Like Luther Vandross, your voice still matters, and your song isn't over yet. Blue Heart.